Welcome to Through the Bible in a Year with Pastor John. We invite you to join us at 1 Oakleigh Avenue in North Providence, Rhode Island. This podcast is presented to you by The Way Ministries, supported by listeners like you. For donations, live videos, podcasts, and more, please visit www.thewayministriesri.org. Thank you and have a great day.
Hi everybody, welcome to Through the Bible in a Year with Pastor John. So glad you could join me today to get a portion of God's Word. Today we're going to begin with day 241, August 28th, Reflection and Worship, Watching and Waiting. But before we get started, I just want to say it's an awesome opportunity to look back on the previous 6 days of reading and to ponder and look and maybe read it again if you have to get a better concept of God's character. Maybe I need a chance to catch up, or just for your own pleasure. It's just an awesome thing, and just to reflect on what we've been reading. Okay, let's go. A well-worn path is not necessarily the right one. Look back. This past week, you have seen Judah herself receive the full brunt of Ezekiel's assault. Like a diligent watchman, Ezekiel guards the house of Israel by warning of impending judgment. He calls and calls, but no one is listening. And finally, the end comes, for the city has fallen. Ezekiel chapter 33:21. People are curious to hear the word of the Lord, but do not put it into practice. Knowing what to do must be translated into doing what you know. Like sheep without a shepherd, like dry, lifeless, disconnected bones, the nation lies plundered and devoured by its pagan neighbors. But even in defeat, God's purposes shine through, for he wants the nations to know that the Lord alone is God. The book ends with a glorious display demonstrating that God is not finished with his people or their temple. By contrast, Daniel is torn from his beloved Jerusalem to begin a 3-year resident program in Babylonian studies. In his diet and in his dreams, Daniel demonstrates to his captors that there is a God in heaven, Daniel 2:28, who interprets the world's most difficult dreams and protects his exiled people far from home. Look up. Life has been described as a series of crises, cleverly connected by the mundane of the everyday. In Daniel's young existence, the mundane of life in Jerusalem gave way almost overnight to the crisis of living out his faith in a foreign land. Captured as a prisoner of war, Daniel was soon confronted with numerous choices. Should I eat what they feed me? Should I accept the name they give me? Should I take the credit for being able to interpret dreams? Should I bow down to an idol of gold at the risk of my life if I don't? Daniel's parents could not possibly have anticipated the perils their son would encounter in Babylon, but they would have been proud of his wise responses in translating his faith into daily decisions. Little wonder that Daniel's reputation grew and grew. No longer merely a transplanted teenager, Daniel was growing into a man of God, whose wisdom and tact were legendary. Look ahead. Though you never read of Daniel preaching a sermon, that's precisely what he did with his life. In the choices he made, the wisdom he demonstrated, the priority that he gave to prayer, and the diligence he demonstrated towards every task set before him. Dare to be a Daniel is more than an old gospel song. It is a timeless challenge for each new generation, calling them to be God's change agents. Wherever he might send them, you may never see the inside of a kingly castle or a lion's den, but you can be sure your life will be full of excitement and challenge. Daniel demonstrated by his dietary habits that his body was the temple of God. Your body is the only vehicle God will give you to do his will this side of heaven. Are you taking good care of it? Eating a nourishing diet, getting adequate rest and exercise, and avoiding harmful substances? If not, study Daniel's example carefully and then dare to be a Daniel. That's awesome advice. That's all for today, my friends. It was great reading along with you. Have a great day and God bless. And I will see you tomorrow, Lord willing. Peace.